So hi and welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be testing the Roccat here. This is the final version. We have tested the prototype version. Here's a link in the corner here to that video. And when we were testing the prototype version, we found some high latency on some of the results. So today we're going to see whether those have been corrected with this final version, and hopefully they have. If you want to know about the shape of the Roccat or any other statistics like glide tests, you need to check out the prototype version. Nothing has changed. All we've tested on this today is the latency, like button latency and movement latency, and that's what we're going to show the results for in this test here, and this will be the updated version going forward. So we're going to go through and address some of the things here as well, and one of those was that I know a lot of people were upset about the results for the Roccat, saying the latency wasn't right. We did go through how they were taking these tests, and that we discussed it with Roccat. So the tests we do here are not to translate any mouse, they're just purely to put them in data, and so we can see what the results are, and if there's any problems like there was with the Roccat prototype, then we can address those and we can make that visible and then find out whether that's been fixed or not. So throughout this, Roccat have been awesome, really impressed with how their support's been. They wanted to help me try and resolve this problem as well, so I sent them all my drivers, all my data logs, everything that I'd tested, and they went away and reviewed that, including the footage. Roccat were not able to replicate my tests and find the same problems, which is fair enough. I understand that as well. And that we both agreed that the issues potentially the prototype mouse that we had, and that they were going to send me out a final version, which today we have the Roccat final version. So how are the latency tests taken? Well, we use 1000 FPS cameras, we've said. And to understand that measurement here, because it perhaps wasn't as clear as it should have been, is 1000 frames equals 1 second. Each video clip is 2 seconds or 2.1. And there's something like 2074 frames per click. That means that each frame in the video equals 1 millisecond of time. So 1000 frames would be 1 second, and 1000 milliseconds is in a second. So 1 frame per millisecond. And one thing you're not going to be able to see on YouTube is each frame. It does not allow you to skip through each frame. It doesn't allow you to do it in VLC, I think, either. So you're not exactly going to see each frame here. So what I've done is I've added a counter. The counter represents a frame, which therefore is a millisecond response for each mouse that we see in these videos. One thing to be clear as well is that there is a lot of variables in these tests with millisecond, whether it's human benchmark, whether we're using latency tests or we're using blood PK, many variables, yeah. So some of those things to list would be, you've got the switch pre-travel, we've got the button pre-travel, we've got the USB latency, we've got the PC processing latency, we've got the human element of it, we've got the game engine latency, we've got monitor latency. I mean, put in the comments if you think there's anything else. There's plenty of these variables here that we can't test in this environment. What I'm trying to show you here is a real life scenario here where you'll push a button on a mouse and the game itself will respond. Each game will respond differently. Each monitor we use will be different. I've got 244 Hz Zowie monitor that we're going to use. I've also got the gigabyte version, that's 240 Hz with a half a second response, which we're going to test. And we're going to try and use a few different ones here. This is a 240 Razer 2080 blade here as well that we're going to use. So we're going to try and do a few of them, but I need a bit of time to do that. Hopefully over Xmas we'll get there. So one more thing before we get into the tests is I've changed the button latency and how we're going to do that, and also we've added in a switch latency. The movement latency is going to stay the same. We're going to use it using a screwdriver to push it. Someone, I'm sorry I've forgotten your name, had suggested using a spring-loaded toilet roll holder to fire the mouse, and it works well. The trouble is it picks the mouse up, so when you hit it, the mouse, instead of going flat, it picks the front up because of the pressure on the back. I need to tweak that, and I'm going to try and do some kind of adapter on the spring itself that will allow us to push the mouse, or a different method, at the same pace for each mouse. But for now, we're going to have to use a screwdriver because, well, we don't have that testing rig yet. On the button and switch latency, I've retested the other mice like the Ultralight 2, the Viper, the MK1, the XM1. I've retested those in the same way we've done the Roccat, and that's how we're going to do those tests going forward for the other mice. I hope to catch up the chart with all the other mice that I've done already in the back as part of over Christmas as well. But for this test, I wanted to compare it with the 5 mice that we did originally, and that's what this shows today. If you want to see how those mice perform, they'll all be at the end of the video as well. I'll show you all the clips in there. They are edited in terms of cut down some of the 2-second clip to show you only the part when it moves, because I don't want to show you just a flat point in the video, okay? So you can have a look there and you can compare all these results yourself. Feel free to let me know in the comments what you think. And the final change to the test is that there's now a mouse pad as well, rather than a shiny surface of a box where I use my temporary test rig, shall we say, and I'm trying to make that a bit more consistent now as well. So movement latency, well, the first chart here, we're using CSGO and Rainbow Six. and the Roccat here came in with a good score of 22 milliseconds in movement. This is certainly faster than something like the Ultralight Cape Town, which was good to see here. We then tested it in Rainbow 6, and although you can see it's faster than the prototype by some difference here, it comes in with a response of 35 milliseconds, but this is slightly behind some of the other mice here that we have tested using this method. So as I've said, for the button and the switch latency that we're going to go through now, we've retested these, so they will be the same as what the previous results were. CSGO here, and the button came in with a speedy response here. It's only slow to the M1K, which we know is a fast mouse, and it came in with a response of 44 milliseconds. In Rainbow 6 again though, it's slightly behind the pack here with a response of 48 milliseconds. But as you can see, it is a lot faster than the prototype was. So switch latency, while in CSGO, showing the switch movement here, it comes in third with 46 millisecond response, which is pretty good here. It's only just behind the Viper. And in Rainbow 6, it comes in with 49 milliseconds. Keep it in line with the pack again, but again, just behind the others again. So there's a few things to take from this. One is Rainbow 6 seems to have some kind of difference in the engine maybe, where the Roccat seems to always be a little bit behind. But in CSGO, the Roccat is ahead. I'm not saying that specifically to the Roccat, and I guess we're going to see more of that as we test more mice, but Rainbow 6 is certainly reacting differently to CSGO, let's say. What was also interesting here is I used to do the button latency and I took it at a different angle, which is why I've retested this. And I expected the button movement latency, I guess, to always be slightly behind the switch, because on the switch we're actuating it straight away. And in these test results, that doesn't seem to always be the case. So again, it's something maybe as trends go on, we can take a look at. Maybe if I change the way we press the switch, looking at a more automated method, a few people have mentioned that. Maybe we'll see that change when we retest the mice, maybe. So for me on these tests, the Roccat has certainly improved. We're going to go through the other tests in a second. But on this one was where the Roccat had some issues, especially on movement and button latency. They were in the hundreds millisecond, whereas now they're down with the pack. Sometimes beating the other mice where I expected it to sit. So finally, a nice job here. Moving on to Blood PK test, the left button came in with an average of 158 milliseconds, which is slightly behind the prototype in this test, which was interesting. And the right mouse button came with 165 milliseconds, again decent, middle of the pack, puts it slightly faster than the prototype. Human benchmark, well, it came with an average of 166 milliseconds, which is quick, but human benchmark, so me maybe to that day I was a little bit quicker, but this is a quick test here from the Roccat, which also puts it 12 milliseconds ahead of the prototype, so certainly looking quicker here now, the Roccat. Clicks per second here, 6 clicks per second, which is identical to the prototype. Nothing here to report that's changed, but I didn't expect that anyway. Now we're on to the bump test, where we bring out the M1K to against this mouse. The M1K is the champion, nothing's beating it. In fact, it's destroying most things at the minute, the M1K. And you can see here again, the M1K beats the Roccat on the left mouse button, and it also beats in the second test on the right mouse button. So no changes here. The M1K is still the champion. So as I said, slightly different video here. It's good to see Roccat have given me the opportunity to test the final mouse. Roccat have been great throughout this process, and they shipped me out one straight away. Took me a while to get some of these tests out. I wanted to make sure that the latency tests were correct. And now I'm going to move on and do the other mice, like the M4, Hayat, Model O minus, and the M7710. Also got my little figure here. Everyone keeps calling me Sir Davros. So here is Sir Davros. Looks like me, I agree. Got a load of mice pads to do. I'm going to be doing a ton of review stuff. I'm off most of December, and I'm going to be doing loads of videos. I might even stream some of my review stuff if you're interested on Twitch. I know I've not been on Twitch much recently, and I want to get some of that going as well. So a lot more to go on. Good to see the Roccat here is now measuring as we expect. Let me know if you want to see any more tests in the videos, and we're going to move on back to the reviews and the other tests that we do, like teardowns and things like that. So, as always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you again soon. See you later. Bye-bye.
shimmy, yeah. Bump it and grind, let's go all the way. Shimmy out, shimmy, yeah. Drinks in the air now, let this moment. Shimmy out, shimmy, yeah. Tropical vibes are taking over. are taking over. yeah. Wherever love flows, there is also tragedy when we're in too deep. And you and I, we got history, yeah. Go look in the mirror, say, hey, I'm sorry for all the pain. I'm sorry for all the pain. Go look in the mirror, say, hey, I'm sorry for all the pain. I'm sorry for all the pain. Go look in the mirror, say, hey, I'm sorry for all the pain. I'm sorry for all the pain. My love, it grows with the memories like a symphony. And you and I, we got history, yeah. And when you're alone, do you say my name or you say her name? Yeah. My love, it grows with the memories like a symphony. And you and I, we got history.